Hi, it's your girl Mighty Fly here. And as you can hear, there are birds chirping in the background. Even though I asked them to be quiet for this video, but nature. Break away from the skies. During this time where the Black Lives Matter movement has resurfaced due to the deaths of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd, we are in a state of grief. This is a perpetual problem that's been happening. But now, as Black people, as a nation, and as a world, we are tired. We've internalized so much mistreatment and psychological trauma and worked tirelessly to suppress it, understand it, fix it, and fight back. We as Black people are in a state of immense grief. Grief, yes, we all as human beings understand what grief is. Now, traditional grieving is often associated with the loss of something tangible or physical. In such instances of grief where the loss is recognized by society at large, that grief is ritualized both in public and private ceremonies. That person has the social permission to grieve as long as they need, and society provides the space and comfort for them to do so. You might have heard of the 5 stages of grief. You have your first stage, denial, an attempt to suppress the existence of an issue. You have your second stage, anger, and we all know anger. It's an attempt to adjust to the extreme emotional discomfort that you're feeling. Third, you have bargaining. Just like it sounds, we try to bargain our way out of the situation, often to a higher power. Fourth stage is depression. The loss becomes present, clear, and unavoidable, and we often retreat within to deal with these intense emotions. Lastly, you have the 5th stage, acceptance. And this is when you no longer resist the reality of your loss. But with the Black Lives Matter movement, the grieving process is different. We may not specifically know our slain brothers and sisters, but we feel them because we are them. As Black people, we are connected deeper than any other race. The pain my sister feels, I feel. The pain my brother feels, I feel. As Black people who have survived slavery in these lands for centuries, we grieve the tangible deaths and the intangible fog of racism. This brings me to disenfranchised grief. Have you heard of that? According to DOCA, and let me just read this verbatim, okay? Disenfranchised grief, aka hidden grief, is grief that is not openly acknowledged, socially validated, or publicly mourned. The depth of pain is often not understood or recognized by others, and therefore illegitimized. The act of disenfranchising grief can be surmised as empathy failure. That is, a lack of empathy that can come from sources of family members, society at large, and even oneself. Disenfranchisement of a group's grief is an active process that could be propagated in many ways by others. Using specific examples from the Black Lives Matter movement, let's gain a deeper understanding and dissect to see what it actually looks like. The first is retracting support from a group because they don't exhibit the appropriate rules of grieving. This is evident in the diminishing language that many people use to discuss the violent actions that the protesters are using towards the cities as a way of saying that it's an inappropriate way to mourn or grieve the murders of Black people. Another is voicing an opinion that effectively mutes or silences a group who is experiencing grief. This is evident in the All Lives Matter movement that intentionally mocks the movement of Black Lives Matter and simultaneously silences the light on inequality. Additionally, a way to disenfranchise is to send out messaging that delegitimizes, discourages, discounts, or disapproves a group's way of grieving. This is evident in that dude in the White House who is sending out the military to enforce curfews as a way to discourage protesters from being out here on the front lines, exercising their First Amendment right. Another is shaming people for grieving too long. This is evident in language such as, slavery was so long ago, you should be over it by now, when in fact, that is the literal reason why we are in this position right now, because of the systems of racism that were created during slavery that are still affecting us today. Lastly, a way to disenfranchise grief is to override the sadness with a positive event. This is evident in people suggesting that you should be happy and content with the fact that people are protesting, and that should be enough for you. As Black people, we are experiencing multiple pockets of grief that is disenfranchised constantly. We must simultaneously grieve loss of the illusion of present-day equality, or progress for that matter, the chronic systemic racism that annihilates our sense of safety and belonging, the intentional attempts at erasure of Black humanity, loss of the image of a safe future for our children, the modern-day public lynchings of Black humans, and loss of a dream. As Black people, we can resist the systems that are intentionally trying to disenfranchise our grief. Our grief is valid, it is real. Look after your physical health. Face your feelings and feel them completely. Express your grief in tangible or creative ways. Don't let anyone, including yourself, tell you how to feel, silence your voice, or dismantle your grieving process. Black lives matter. Let us grieve, let us fight, let us heal. Thank you. This video will be on my blog, my Instagram, and my YouTube. So check them out on all three. Please share for anybody who needs to see this. And even if they don't know that they need to see it, they need to see it, okay? Thank you so much.
Break away from the sky.